Welcome to Malaga and continuing YouTube coverage of the second Global Photonics Economic Forum. On October 7th and 8th, 2025, Optica gathered the world's most influential executives together. Here's the complete version of one of the 8 keynotes. Enjoy. Now, please welcome our next keynote speaker, Mark Gitin, CEO of IPG Photonics. Since taking the helm, Mark has guided IPG through a rapidly changing global landscape, reinforcing its position as the world leader in fiber laser technology. Today, Mark will share how IPG is turning disruption into advantage, like a 2000-watt single-mode laser allowing welding of steel up to 8 millimeters thick. They're adapting handheld systems for higher throughput and cobot automation to reduce costs in aerospace, defense, medical, and clean technologies. Under Mark's leadership, IPG has expanded from being a product maker to becoming a solutions partner, delivering innovations like LightWELD, cleanLASER, and advanced medical laser systems. Mark will speak about reshoring, sustainability, AI-driven automation, and the role of lasers in defense and advanced manufacturing. And he will outline IPG's innovation roadmap, where performance, automation, and sustainability converge to drive industrial progress and societal value. Please welcome Mark Gitin.
Thank you very much. I'm not used to this much fanfare, but since I have your attention, let me share a little bit about me and about IPG. It's really a privilege to be here with leaders, innovators, and investors from across our industry. I'm here to share IPG's story, where we've come from, how we've been transforming, and the role of photonics in addressing the next global challenges. But before I get into that, I'd like to share something a little bit more personal. And it's not that. I can control a lot of things as CEO, but maybe not our lawyers. Let's see. Let me try that again. Okay, here we go. So I have a passion for smoking meats. That's briskets, ribs, all types of barbecue. The process requires patience, some precision, and imagination. It's a little creativity that I can do when I'm not working. And it's interesting because every choice really impacts the outcome, the wood type, the timing, the setup, the spices. And there's traditional methods that you can use, but there's the opportunity to push the boundaries and really to create something new each time. And most of all, cooking over a fire actually brings people together. So when I took the role of CEO, I had to move from California to Boston. And for those of you that know, that's from warm weather to very cold winters with snow and such. So I didn't bring my smoker with me. I needed a new one. I needed one that was made of stainless steel. And there are a few companies in the US that would make a smoker for you out of stainless steel. So I started calling around, did a little bit of my research on free time, and I called ones in Oregon, Alabama, and then I called one in Austin, Texas, which is a great place, it turns out, for smokers. And I said, why should I buy the smoker from you? Why not the one in Oregon? Why not the one in Alabama? And he said, let me take you through it. And I should tell you that in these are small companies, so you're usually talking to the owner. And he said, first of all, ours is 100% 304 stainless, the best you can get. And we use 12 and 14 gauge, so this thing is really heavy duty. And then he said, and every seam, every joint is laser welded with an IPG LightWELD. Okay. And this true story. He didn't know me, didn't know I was the CEO of IPG. You know, no phone recordings. So I talked to him for a while. We got to know each other. Of course, I introduced myself. And he gave me some of the benefits. He said, you know, it's really changed the way that we're able to do this. It's changed our industry. We're able to do things much faster and cleaner. But obviously, he had me at IPG. So yes, I bought the smoker from him. In fact, I had him build me a gas barbecue as well. And I can tell you, they each weigh a little more than 250 kilograms. So these are very strong devices. But that moment really stuck with me. And it really showed me that IPG shows up everywhere. It's recognized for performance and innovation even outside of our core industries. And as I think back to the smoker, smoking meat is a little bit like running a technology company. It takes the right mix of ingredients, patience and precision, sometimes a lot of patience. And there are proven methods, but there's the opportunity to kind of push the boundaries. And most of all, it's having the right people around you. And that's the mix that we're really striving for at IPG. It's tradition and innovation, patience and precision, working together to keep driving performance and progress. So IPG started as a founder-led company built on truly brilliant invention and with a simple but powerful idea, and that was really to push the limits of light-based technology. Everything ran through our founder, Valentin Garpantsev. Some of you probably knew him. Every product specification, every product roadmap, every hire, every investment, every purchase order was signed by Valentin. And this approach fostered incredible speed and innovation. This is the definition of the hub and spoke model. One brilliant mind at the center, and every aspect of the business was running right through him. Now, when it came to the IPG culture, Valentin was only part of the equation because he was surrounded by incredibly smart, dedicated people, many of them who spent their whole entire career here at IPG. And their expertise and their loyalty combined with his vision created a culture of invention and entrepreneurial spirit that still defines us today. But as we expanded, more products, more geographies, more customers, of course, complexity sets in. We had regional sites that built incredible expertise, but the knowledge was siloed. And just the sheer volumes of decisions created a natural bottleneck, making scaling really much harder. Instinct and a single decision maker aren't enough to run and scale a billion-dollar company. We needed more resiliency, we needed more depth, and we needed a strong leadership system. And that's the transformation that we've been making. So when I stepped into the role of CEO, one of the first things that I did was to actually stand up a leadership team. I pulled the most senior leaders from across our businesses, functions, operations, so that we could drive the future of the business, future of IPG together. And I needed to learn fast, and I needed to learn how we'd work together. I wanted to make sure that I could create a foundational understanding for all of us. So I asked each of the leaders to go through what I called a white paper exercise. And this was something to drive with their teams. So I asked them to write down what they own, their businesses, their products, the processes, really a detailed understanding of the teams, a SWOT analysis, and what they saw as the future state for their particular area. And this was a good body of work. I gave them each a month to prepare this. And then I brought them together for a 2-day offsite to present to me, but also to present to the whole group. And first of all, let me say this was a fantastic way to really drink through the fire hose and get a tremendous learning in a short period of time for me. But the other thing that struck me during this was how little many of them knew about each other's businesses and functions. And for some, it was actually the first time they'd ever met in person. And that moment underscored the importance to me of building a shared understanding, trust, and accountability, really from the beginning. So if you fast forward to today, we built a really fantastic leadership team that combines the best of both worlds. I was able to hire fantastic new executives, really best of the best class in HR, a head of CHRO, a head of global operations, head of our medical and systems businesses. So really some top-notch people. And they're working right alongside long-tenured leaders who helped to select them. So we're part of the selection process. And so I now have a strong, very smart, unified team. And together, this group is empowered, of course, to lead their own areas, and they also have a shared responsibility for the company's future. And we're shifting from an instinct driven approach to a data-driven decision-making, keeping the entrepreneurial spirit that ultimately defined us, but strengthening it with structure and discipline. And we're putting rigorous processes in place. detailed product development processes, quality control processes, detailed business reviews, and we're breaking down silos. So the teams are running the businesses globally now, not just regionally. They're running the functions globally, of course. So we've broken down the isolation. And we're also running the business with a much more modern operating rhythm, with more focused meetings, with stronger employee communications, all of this to keep the company moving as one. And all of this really matters for two reasons. The first is structure and scale. Again, adding the leadership depth and the discipline processes was key. And we've shown that we can put in place structure and programs and some deep customer partnerships now that are important. And this is giving us the ability to capture the sheer magnitude of opportunities that are in front of us and to grow with confidence. The second is culture and leadership. So we're preserving that original spirit of innovation that defined IPG, but we're evolving how we work through what we're calling the one IPG mindset. And that means breaking down the silos between the regions, functions, and teams, sharing expertise and lessons learned across all of the business, aligning along shared goals, and now with a global mindset. And this evolution is not just internal. Customers, investors, and partners are beginning to see a stronger and more modern IPG. The acquisition that we made at the end of last year of a company called cleanLASER in Germany is really an early proof statement, because many of us here know that integrating an acquisition can really take years to feel successful. But the cleanLASER team they're a fantastic team, and we put in place a really structured integration process with every function involved, and we've really pulled them into IPG. And already I've been meeting with that team, and they are feeling like part of IPG. And this really demonstrates that IPG is not only innovative, but really a trusted and attractive partner for the future. And this is real progress, but it's just the start of how we're going to show up differently in the market. These drivers really define IPG's transformation so that we're truly able to preserve the spirit of the founder-led beginnings and combine that with the strength of a team-led company. So as much as we've been transforming inside IPG, we're also operating in an industry and a world that's changing fast. Across manufacturing, big forces are really reshaping the landscape for us. Reshoring is accelerating, as we've talked about. Companies are bringing production closer to home to build resilience and to mitigate the geopolitical risks. And of course, the instability that comes with tariffs also makes it clear that resiliency is now a strategic priority for everybody. And with manufacturing facilities in both the US and Europe, IPG is well positioned thanks to our flexible global footprint. We've actually been able to shift product lines from region to region to optimize with the tariffs, for example. But there's another challenge with reshoring, and that's tight labor markets. Skilled manufacturing talent is harder than ever to find, and at least in the US, it's becoming incredibly expensive. And that combination is pushing companies to lean harder into automation to both fill the gap and also to offset the rising costs. And automation today, it's not just robots on the floor. We're entering the era of Factory 2.0 and Industry 4.0. Smart, connected, adaptive environments. Factories that can predict maintenance, before any breakdowns occur. Factories that can refigure lines in real time for new products. They can connect design directly through to production through virtual copies, sometimes called virtual twins or digital twins. And here the processes can be tested, optimized, and they can be perfected before anything's ever built. Across industries like automotive, electronics, and aerospace, this shift is really speeding up innovation cycles, it's increasing flexibility, and it's raising the bar for efficiency and quality. If you overlay this now with the global push for sustainability, lowering energy use, cutting waste, and eliminating hazardous chemicals, these are key issues today. It's not just for this green issues, it's also an issue for cost. So the picture becomes clear that resilience, automation, and sustainability really are no longer optional. They've become business imperatives. And these shifts are creating high-stakes challenges and also opportunities where innovation really makes the difference. And this is where IPG is playing a critical role, helping industries from automotive to electronics to medical devices turn disruption into advantage with holistic solutions that make us not just a vendor, but a needed partner. And at IPG, we're moving beyond just components. We're moving to deliver differentiated lasers and photonics that enable our OEM partners to build more competitive systems. If you combine that with our deep applications know-how, IPG has tremendous applications and process know-how. We have more than 100 engineers that are just doing process and applications. To put that together, we're able to embed our technology solutions, the full solutions, into customer workflows. And that makes IPG a true strategic partner, helping customers to innovate faster, to operate more efficiently, and to compete more effectively globally. Because customers today, they don't want just components from us, they need outcomes. They're asking suppliers to go beyond performance specs and to deliver integrated solutions that fit seamlessly into their broader ecosystems. And that's exactly where IPG makes a difference. Our lasers, our systems, together with the applications and the expertise behind them, are uniquely positioned to turn today's challenges into opportunities. Our lasers deliver automation-ready performance, and that's combining high speed, high precision, and low maintenance. They are reducing consumables, reducing energy use, lowering operating cost, and making production overall more competitive. And our products also enable miniaturization. Our ultra-fast lasers achieve micron-level accuracy with almost no heat impact to the parts. And that's truly essential in semiconductor and microelectronic applications where even the smallest defect is completely unacceptable. And our lasers are driving green innovation because, again, they're consuming less energy, they're reducing water use, and they're eliminating hazardous chemicals. And IPG is at the center of electrification, from transportation all the way to energy storage. For the production of lithium-ion batteries, for example, our lasers cut, clean, and weld thin foils and tabs with incredible precision. What makes IPG unique is that we don't stop at just the laser. We're process experts, as I mentioned. We deliver the right laser for the process, plus the beam delivery and monitoring, and the process, creating complete solutions that improve the throughput, the yield, the cost, and the safety. IPG is transforming from a product-centric manufacturer to a total solutions provider. And I have to say, for us, it's not an either-or choice. We're a leader in differentiated lasers and components, and that's critical to our OEMs and our integrator customers who need us to help them to drive a competitive edge in their systems. But then if you pull in that unique process and applications knowledge, we're delivering these full solutions when customers need more. And that flexibility allows us to meet the market where it is, providing products when performance is the differentiator, and then total solutions when full integration creates the most value for the customer. And by doing both, we expand our impact. We turn total addressable markets, or TAMs, into serviceable markets, or SAMs. And we do that by creating these solutions and driving adoption. And driving adoption is critical because then we're creating opportunities where our technology actually drives customer outcomes. And then the success for our customers obviously puts together and creates new value for IPG. So let me take you through a few examples of the solutions where we design and manufacture all aspects of the system. So first we have the LightWELD. And remember the smoker story I told you. This is the product that was being used by Pitts and Spitz, the company that built my smoker and barbecue. And this is really revolutionizing handheld welding, making the process faster, easier, and more precise. Traditional methods, conventional methods, MIG and TIG, these are torch welding approaches. They depend on highly skilled workers. I was talking to a couple of you that had gone through mechanical engineering degrees and had had to weld for your coursework, and it's tremendously difficult. So this is a workforce that's tremendously short supply because it can take years to apprentice to become good at some of the more difficult welding. So this is a welding force that will be in short supply and is in short supply today. The prediction is that by 2027, there'll be a shortage of more than 300,000 qualified welders. And so LightWELD really helps to close that gap because it's not just a laser. It's a full system. It's a solution. We've built all of the process knowledge of IPG into the tool. You can actually dial in the material type, the thicknesses, even if they're dissimilar metals, and the parameters are preset. It gets you started. The scanning is built into the handpiece, and it can be used just like a torch, but it's all built in. And that enables it to weld a wide range of materials, even difficult ones like aluminum and copper, and even together. And it can weld, more than 4 times faster. And critical things too, it requires less pre-work and post-work and much, much less training. If you come to visit IPG, I'll have you welding in a few minutes. And we're also working with training schools and partners like Miller Electric to expand awareness and to drive adoption. Next, our cleanLASER products tackle some of the toughest challenges in manufacturing. That's removing coatings, rust, and contaminants without the use of harsh chemicals and without waste. Traditional cleaning relies on abrasives, sandblasting, for example, solvents, and these are slow, costly, and frankly bad for the environment. With lasers, the process is faster, it's safer, and it can be much more precise. We can selectively remove areas. And we can remove rust or paint without damaging the underlying surface the way that abrasives like sandblasting would. Our cleanLASER product line reduces chemical use, it cuts energy and water consumption, and makes it easier for our customers to meet their sustainability goals. It's really a clear example of how IPG's technology enables greener manufacturing. And this product you'll see on the screen here is incredibly exciting. We just launched it last month at the DSEI show. It's a major defense show in London. And Crossbow is a field-ready counter-UAS. UAS is unmanned aerial systems, laser defense solution, both for military but also for private operations to defend high-value assets from drone swarms. This is our first off-the-shelf solution for defense applications. It's a compact system, and it was specifically developed to address the smaller class of drones that what are called the Group 1 and Group 2 drones. And this is an escalating threat because these drones can be acquired for a few hundred to a couple $1,000s, and unfortunately are not that difficult to weaponize. And this is not just an issue in war zones, although we've seen the tremendous damage that they can create. But it's also an escalating issue in civilian infrastructure. Airports, for example. You've probably read over the last couple of weeks, major airports shut down because of drone incursions. Oslo, Copenhagen, I think it was last week that Munich was shut down a couple of times for long, long periods of time. I mean, this is a tremendous loss of output, tremendous issue. And then it's also areas they've seen drone incursions in, key power grids, for example, stadiums. And Crossbow is not just a laser. That's not what we're supplying here. We're supplying the entire system. It's the entire system that you saw on the back of the truck there. And it can be used as a standalone system. It has the targeting built in. It can seamlessly integrate with existing command and control networks and radar platforms, allowing for distributed protection of critical assets. And in fact, Lockheed Martin is an early customer for us, and they've already purchased multiple units following months of successful field testing of the Crossbow. And they're integrating the Crossbow system as part of their new layered defense system. And so you could ask, why IPG? Why is IPG doing this? You didn't see me up there talking in the defense platform because we're not a defense contractor. We're a commercial customer. A commercial company. And so what were we doing? We were doing exactly what was talked about there. We're uniquely positioned to bring out the crossbow because we're able to leverage our high power single mode lasers and the surrounding photonics that you see here. We make those already today in high volumes for industrial applications. So if you put that together with the system manufacturing capability that we have for products like the LightWELD and others, that infrastructure together with those pieces allows us to deliver this counter UAS solution at a truly disruptive price point. And that's relative to, others that don't have our capabilities and, frankly, the commercial scale. So it's addressing exactly what was talked about there. That was, we didn't do this under contract with the government. This was done on our nickel. It was soon after I came in. I hired someone that had some expertise in the application itself, and we put a scrappy team together and we developed the entire system inside of a year. And it's there operating and is a system that can be purchased and deployed quickly. And finally, our IPG medical business, continues to develop and launch the most advanced thulium laser surgical systems. This is for minimally invasive kidney stone treatments. And we can do this with incredible accuracy and truly improve the patient experience and lower the risk of complications. And again, IPG developed and manufactures this complete system, including the disposable fibers that go through the catheter and are used for each and every procedure. So compared to legacy holmium lasers that have been used for this application for years, the IPG solution turns the stones to dust rather than just breaking them apart. And we developed this because we truly understood the laser material interaction, and we modeled the effect, and we developed lasers that would do this and turn the stones to dust. And so that approach ensures that the stones pass through the body much easier, and it reduces the risk of future stones. So in total, if you look at these IPG solutions are examples that go beyond just performance specifications. They meaningfully improve outcomes in critical situations, giving shorter cycle times, higher quality, lower operating costs, and more sustainable processes. It's this impact that shapes where we're heading next. And that's why our roadmap is focused not just on pushing the boundaries and the limits of laser performance, but on how we embed these innovations into the industries that we serve. We're investing in R&D and engineering talent. We're developing new lasers, subsystems, and complete automated systems that are tailored to these evolving customer needs. And we're changing how we deliver these innovations. Because rather than just selling the standalone lasers, we're delivering these differentiated integrated solutions to address specific challenges with the examples that I mentioned here: precision welding with the LightWELD, sustainable cleaning with cleanLASER, defense and security with that crossbow, and advanced medical applications with our thulium surgical laser systems. And this shift to solution-based sales also builds deeper customer relationships. By embedding our technologies directly into workflows, we move from being a supplier to moving to be a true strategic partner. And that means real outcomes. It means higher productivity, better quality, more sustainable processes, and a stronger IPG position through longer relationships and recurring revenue streams from service, from software and automation. And of course, all of this is happening within some powerful global shifts: reshoring, labor shortages, and electrification, to name a couple. And these aren't abstract ideas. These are real forces that are shaping the demand for automation, for smart factories, and for green manufacturing. Our innovations, from our ultrafast lasers, enable miniaturization, to sustainable cleaning systems that cut water and chemical use, to laser solutions that drive high-yield battery production. These are all enabling our customers to compete and grow in this changing environment. And that's really our future. IPG solutions that don't just support production, but help define the future of advanced manufacturing. And in many ways, that brings us right back to where I began. Because getting that right mix of ingredients and combining them with patience, precision, and the right tools to create something that actually brings people together. Sometimes it's in your backyard around a smoker, and other times it's on the production floor watching light transform an industry. From IPG's founder-led origin to our team-led transformation, from disruption to solutions, and now our roadmap for the future. Performance and innovation have always been at the core of what we do at IPG. And as we look ahead, I believe that photonics technologies and all of us will play a defining role in making industry smarter, manufacturing more sustainable, and economies more resilient. At IPG, we're proud to be a leader in that effort, and we know that the future will be built together with customers, with investors, and partners across the global photonics industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, for a great presentation. It is great to have you here. I did go to Boston to see the headquarters, and I can promise you it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a meeting about collaboration, Mark. So what kind of opportunities do we have to do business with IPG? Is there any particular challenge that you have in the supply chain today?
Well, absolutely. There's challenges everywhere. I would look to where we're heading, which is, again, solutions. So I think many of you may have technologies that could be of interest to IPG that we could put together and help to solve and create solutions. And that can be on the component side, because we need to enable that, but also on the system side. Partnerships in those areas are very important and help us to all move forward as an industry.
The room is, of course, open for questions. I was really excited myself to see the crossbow. And of course, I saw it as a military laser, but you told me no, it's also for civil applications.
It's for both. It's for both. And I think that's the important thing. You saw that a company like Lockheed Martin is using that in a defense application, but they were in a great position to be able to take something that's already finished as a system and integrate that into their own system.
So
but there's also the opportunity in non-military. We think, unfortunately, that's going to be a growing concern as we've seen at airports. I gave that example.
So what are the current regulatory approaches on that? Because I guess I cannot buy a crossbow in my home and start shooting.
You can't do that today, so there are policy issues that have to be worked through. But there are people that are working on that today, and we'll have to all work together as an industry to be able to utilize a lot of our laser solutions. But again, it depends on the size of the problem, and we see this as an escalating problem. And again, there are opportunities for policy to be able to utilize those things.
Edwin Rox, CEO of TTM.
Hey, hello. Great presentation, but I hope the mic is working.
Okay.
Just a very quick question. What is the attack distance of the crossbow? What is the work distance?
Yeah, so the crossbow we've talked about, that's a kilometer range tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Any further questions about the crossbow? Who would buy one? No, any further questions about the crossbow? I would like to thank first Mark, because I know that preparing a presentation like this took quite a bit of effort, but also I would like to congratulate you for two reasons. The first one, today you have reached the higher value for stock over the last 52 weeks, and that in the current situation that we have for our industry, that's a big deal. But on the second one, I have witnessed the way that you have changed IPG. It's a new company, a company that we are all really happy to use, and a company that I hope continues the huge success. Mark, thank you very much.